Hey Bears fans, we got some draft rumors to get into after Ohio State's Pro Day, but we like to hit you with the hard-hitting questions off the top of these shows. So let's ask you this. Is it time for me to shave the beard? Look at this thing. I don't think it's ever been this thick before. Type S for shave it. Type K for keep it. I guess you could type T for trim it as well. We'll take your votes into account. I'll have something to say with it as well. So will my wife probably. It'll be a busy weekend ahead on making this decision. Your votes will factor in, though. S for shave or K for keep. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham. Video number 2 on the day because that's how we roll when things are coming in. And we got some reports out there around the NFL draft and the Bears from Jordan Schultz of ESPN. So let's go ahead and break this down. He tweeted this. The Bears really like both Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson from Ohio State. Of course, Olave broke Ohio State's touchdown record. There's a comfort level there with Justin Fields, and both have super strong skill sets with Justin Fields. Also spoke with a lead scout. Wilson's a stud, he says, like a true number 1, and Olave is a touchdown machine. Jordan Schultz also added this. Perhaps the Bears, currently without a first-round pick, would try and move up for Wilson, who's been mocked inside the top 10. Olave has also risen, I am told. Now, I should add to this reporting from Jordan Schultz that Tyke Tolbert, the Bears wide receiver coach, was at Ohio State's Pro Day. He was there. He's been bouncing around different Pro Days. He was at Cincinnati's as well. So the Bears did send somebody out there and the receiver coach, so I think that's pretty notable for these two receivers that Justin Fields knows pretty well. Let me say this right off the top, and we'll break this down. We'll take a look at Olave and Wilson and how they could fit. I think getting inside the top 10 is going to be a bit of a stretch for Chicago. It's going to be tough. I'll explain why in a second, but I want to ask you this first. Should the Bears trade up for Chris Olave or Garrett Wilson? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let us know down in the comment section, should the Bears trade up for one of these two Ohio State receivers? Now, I think, and we've talked about this guy a lot more here on this show for this reason, that Chris Olave is more realistic and more attainable. Not that I think it's insanely realistic. You're not getting him in round 2. I think that's pretty clear at this point. But if you were to trade up and you think one guy could slip a little in round 1, I think Chris Olave is that guy. These are the current draft picks for Chicago. You've got 3 top 71 picks, 39 and 48 in round 2, 71 in round 3. You got 2 fifths round picks. You got a 6th round pick. You could get more picks potentially if you want to trade a guy like Robert Quinn, which could be a possibility, something we've explored. So there is kind of the question of, okay, how do you get up to a certain area to get a Chris Olave or a Garrett Wilson? So there's draft charts out there, a couple of websites. You guys can DM me for them at HGramNFL if you're, playing the mock draft game at home. Essentially, if the Bears were to trade both their second-round picks, number 39 and 48, that would get you to about the number 19 or 20 pick based on what the Draft Tech website says the value for each pick. Every pick in the draft has a value. Obviously, the first pick, the most valuable, goes all the way down to pick 250 or whatever it is. You trade your second-round picks, you can get up to right around pick 19 or 20. Chris Olave could be there in that range. I think that is attainable. Now, if you add number 71, your third-round pick, to both your second picks, if you wanted to trade all 3 of them, you could get up to around the number 10 pick. Now, I find that unrealistic just because the Bears have multiple needs. I don't think they're going to trade 3 picks to get up into that number 10 spot or so for a Garrett Wilson. I don't think you'd move up that high for Chris Olave based on, draft scouts on where these two receivers could fall. But that is kind of the math there. If you trade all 3 of your day 2 picks, you could get up to about that number 10 pick, of course, if a team agrees to a trade. When the Bears make moves, we have it covered. And when they're linked to major news and rumors, we cover that as well. YouTube.com/BearsNow. That is the link to share with all your Bears buddies. But you're watching the video right now. All you got to do is hit that red subscribe button, and we will continue to keep you guys up to date with everything around the Chicago Bears. So help us out, hit that sub button. Now, you look at these two receivers. We've kind of talked about what would it take, the reporting aspect of it. Let's talk about the players themselves. Both had great careers at Ohio State. Olave played 4 years there. Wilson played 3. These last 3 years they played together quite a bit, obviously. In the 2 prior years, before this past year, they both played with Justin Fields. We'll tie Fields into this. You guys see the production, right? Olave, more of that touchdown machine. Garrett Wilson, maybe more of a pure, route runner and more upside type of player overall. Kind of a bouncy guy, but I love Olave and his fit in Chicago, which is good because Garrett Wilson, I think, is going top 10 in this draft. I think he's the top receiver in this draft. Him and Drake London have kind of been going back and forth, according to NFL scouts, for the draft. Olave, if one's going to fall into the 20s, I think it would be him. He could go as high as 15, though. I mean, who knows? A lot of teams are going to like him as well. You're going to have to trade up for one of these guys. If you're going to trade up for one of them, I think Olave is more realistic. Pick a wide receiver if you could have your choice at either of these guys. Type GW for Garrett Wilson. Type CO for Chris Olave. I would probably pick Olave because I don't think you're going to have to move as high in the draft as you would for Wilson. And he's a touchdown machine, and this team needs to score touchdowns, something they didn't do nearly often enough in the Matt Nagy era. Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave would be huge for Justin Fields if you could get one of these guys. Because you need weapons, we know that, but the chemistry is already there. You see these photos of when they were scoring touchdowns together at Ohio State. You've got Fields and Chris Olave right there, Fields and Garrett Wilson. I mean, these guys played in big games together, won big games together, and put up huge numbers together, and the chemistry is already there between Fields and Wilson and between Fields and Olave. That's a huge thing for a young quarterback. You can kind of skip the jumping through ropes and hoops of trying to build chemistry and where receivers like the ball and where to pull up on a route and, hey, against this coverage, you need to do this on this route combination. That's already in place. Now, sure, you got to rebuild a little bit of it after a year off, but these guys played 2 years together, not just on Saturdays 12 times a year, but countless practices, countless, just throwing sessions as well. You've got all that in place, so that's big. But on top of all of that, you need more weapons for Justin Fields. That's just obvious. Like, we've talked about this quite a bit. You've got some pieces, but you need a lot more. You need, 1, 2, 3 more guys to go to war with right now. Like, you just have to add more pieces to this offense. You got Darnell Mooney. You've got Byron Pringle. You've got David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert, Cole Kmet, but you need more than that. You need another receiver. You probably need another tight end. You probably need 2 more receivers if we're being completely honest. And getting one of these guys from Ohio State would go a long way in bolstering this offensive unit. And like I said, the connection with Justin Fields is huge. What is your dream draft pick for the Chicago Bears? If you could get Wilson or Olave, I mean, that would be incredible. You're talking about an impact guy right away to help your young quarterback. I'll say Chris Olave in round 1. That's my dream. That's been the dream. We'll see if it happens. Fields was the dream last year, and that one happened, so you just never know. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram. We're closing in on 3,000 followers over there. Once we cross 3,000, I'll cook up another IG Live, and we'll answer some of your questions over there. Having a lot of fun with those. At HGramNFL. Give me a follow. We'll see you soon here on Bears Now.